feel comfortable with. This is the time for a little bit of fellowship. Right now?
Yeah, we're not going back to the divine.
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Let me hear you now. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. One more time. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sue Witter, and I'm one of the practitioners here today, and it is my honor to welcome you to the West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. We're glad you're here. You know, everyone has a busy, busy life, and we're so grateful that you have taken time out of your life to honor the truth of who you are and the strength and strengthen your spiritual path. And that's true whether you're here in this building or whether you're watching us online right now or later. So thank you. Thank you for honoring that part of yourself. So today, Reverend Karen was not feeling at her best, and so she asked Clyde to step in. So we know that her body's balanced and harmonized and all is well. And most importantly, that she was wise enough to stop and take care of herself. So we can all give thanks for that and know that all is well. And with that...
And we get Clyde.
And we get Clyde. Woohoo! And we get Clyde. Which is going to be great fun. It is really going to be fabulous today. So we know that all is well, and so let's just take a moment now and begin to go within and center and know that we are included with the divine energy.
Oh, so just take a deep breath. Release any concerns that you may be thinking about. Go into that peaceful place.
I will make a quiet place within my heart. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and
I will make a quiet place within my mind. And I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and
I will make a quiet place within my life. And I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet
Right here, right now, in this quiet place. In this place where we open our hearts to the wisdom of the divine. For I know that there is one mind, one heart, one soul, one activity of spirit that lives and moves and has its being in, through, and as me, in, through, and as everyone, everywhere. And that spirit is peace and joy, love, happiness, harmony, health, abundance, prosperity, wisdom, clarity, and so much more. I know that this day is a day that is already perfect in the mind of God, therefore it unfolds accordingly. That everything in this day reflects the beauty and the abundance of life. For as we look at our abundance in this day, I know that that expression, that reality of affluence is present in the hearts and minds of everyone. That wisdom and expansion is present here in this day in each of our minds. So I give thanks for the Bradfords, knowing that their music always lifts us and opens us. For Reverend Clyde, knowing that he is the expression of the divine in this day, that everything he says touches our hearts, opens and lifts us in ways that we have not experienced before. And that every person here knows the reality of affluence in their life. So I release this with gratitude and joy, knowing that it is already done, and so it is.
So it is.
And my reading today is from one of my favorite books in the world, In the Flow of Life by Eric Butterworth. And it is from a chapter called The Reality of Affluence. The great truth of the reality of affluence is that there is a legitimate abundance for every person, which one can and must claim for oneself. Lao Tzu was teaching this concept of the flow 3,000 years ago. He declared that the human spirit has at its source a cosmic flow, even as rivers have their source in some far-off fountain. To find one's fountain, he said, is to learn the secret of heaven and earth. Life asks of you only that you flow with it, that you do not resist its inexorable bubbling forth, that you do not crawl into dark corners of insufficiency and erect barriers. The secret of prosperity and success is that it comes through you and not just to you. One of the great fundamentals of the flow of life is the reality of affluence. The word affluence is normally used in context of things, houses, cars, money, materiality in general. This is actually a corruption of the true meaning of the word. It means flow forth and the free flow. So, as Emerson says, place yourself in the middle of the stream, and you will be impelled without effort into a right and perfect contentment. This stream of life is the only reality. Knowing that you are in the flow of this stream is the basis of faith and the key to the only kind of security we can ever know. This stream that flows from within you has no other intent except to flow through you and as you. So take a moment and just feel that flow. Feel your hearts and minds opening and allow yourself to float easily in the beauty of the divine energy. So it is.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of your creation. What we'll see will defy expectation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Wanna change the world, there's nothing to it. So, think about how you want to change your world today. Every day we are creating by the thoughts that we think. And think of that scripture, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Wow. Am I on? Can you hear me? Okay, I can hear me. So thank you, of course, Rod and Kathy. You know, when I look at Rod and Kathy, I picture a flower just blooming. Not only in her music, but look at their spot. I mean, they're creating their own space. And, you know, it's just a beautiful expression of life unfolding right here at the center. And they're
I'm a little bit of a late bloomer.
So Reverend Karen reached out to me this morning about 4:30. She called me and she said, "You're the only one I know that's awake. So I'm calling you." And I said, "Okay." So she is doing well. She's home taking care of herself, and more to come on that. So if we just our prayers are with her and knowing that she's healing, and we'll provide more information as the time allows. And we just need to know that for her right now. Let her rest and take care of herself. So today's topic, or the topic for her talk today, and she sent me her talk and her notes. But the topic of today's talk is enthusiastic expectation. So when Reverend Karen and I were talking about enthusiastic expectation, and then she was telling me about Indra's net. So the first thing that came to my mind was fishing. And she's like, "No, Clyde, it's not about fishing." And so, but I'm like, "Well, I want to tell a fishing story, so I'm just going to tell you a quick fishing story." So I don't know how many people out there have been fishing. I don't fish very much anymore, but when I was younger, I used to fish with my family. And enthusiastic expectation is exactly what that is when you go fishing, right? So when you're going fishing, you're going to expect that you're going to catch the biggest fish out there. And sometimes you may be out there for hours, but that enthusiasm doesn't wear off towards the end of the day. So that enthusiastic expectation, so that's what I was thinking about when she brought up that word about enthusiastic expectation in Indra's net. But Indra's net has a completely different meaning, and this is the beautiful net that Reverend Karen actually made, and we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit. But I want to just talk a little bit about this month. So this is the kickoff of our program for our commitment program, Seeding the Future. And so we're about every month, not every month, but the month of November is when we have this program. And so this year, our book, we always pick a book that we're reading. And so this year's book is The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. And so I've actually have sent that copy of that book out to probably 20 people in the last couple of weeks, telling them that they should read this book, as I've read it before, but I just reread it, and it's just an incredible book. So the first law that Deepak Chopra is talking about in the book is called the Law of Pure Potentiality. And I wanted to read how he describes the law of pure potentiality. The source of all creation is pure consciousness, pure potentiality seeking expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. And when we realize that our true self is one with pure potentiality, we align with the power that manifests everything in the universe. So the key is that when we realize that we align with this same power, So when it becomes clear of who we are and whose we are, then we align ourselves with the essential nature of life itself, living from a place of pure intent of what to expect out of life, right? So we no longer are looking at our limits and our lack. Instead, we're looking at our opportunities and all the potential that are out there in the world. But it takes practice and it takes commitment. And that's part of what this stewardship campaign is about. That's part of that commitment, right? Because tithing, giving is part of a spiritual practice. And we use it as a spiritual practice to teach ourselves that we're in this law of circulation of giving and receiving. And so we can have that enthusiastic expectation of receiving. And we can have that potentiality of knowing that there's this pure potentiality of receiving everything. So we had some unexpected conditions in the world that has rearranged our lives. And we were called to reconfigure and redefine what our community is and how we want to express ourselves. So because of our commitment to our spiritual practice, our community continues to thrive. There's many churches that have closed down that we know about, and there's some that are still struggling to even open. But look at our community today. We are doing very, very well. And it's because of our spiritual practice. It's because of Reverend Karen reminding of our spiritual truth and that we walk our talk. So what is enthusiastic expectations? Reverend Karen and I meet regularly to discuss how to grow our community and how to serve each one of you. Our board meets regularly about financial security of our center and how we can support our mission and our vision for our center. We are thinking big for us, and we need you to join us in that enthusiastic expectation. We have made a lot of foundational improvements to the building, and of course I talked about the Bradfords and how they, to me, again, they just are blossoming into this beautiful flower, and that they just keep getting bigger and bigger, and I love it. So we're moving into a new expression, so we're on video now and live streaming. We started up our classes again. We're having classes. I'll let you guys know that I'm going to be starting a class in January to get us jump started for the new year. And we already have classes going on. And then our Sunday service is in full steam ahead. So we are in this place of enthusiastic expectations. Regardless of where we were last year at the beginning of the year, we are unfolding. We're unfolding in a new way. And each one of you are a part of this unfoldment. Each one of you bring your consciousness to our center, to your homes, to the world as we unfold today and every day. So let's talk a little bit about Indra's net. So this again, I'm very, very proud of Reverend Karen, and you guys can all thank her. She created this net herself. She built this whole thing. I hung it, just so you know. But she created it.
Good job, Clyde.
I didn't have a choice, right? She called me and told me how to come hang it. But anyway, so she built this, and she was telling me that there's Alaska, those Alaskan shows on TV. She watched this TV show from Alaska, and then she built a net. So that's where she got the idea from. So let me tell you the story about Indra's net. So Indra's net is a story. Comes from Hinduism and Buddhism. In the Hindu faith, there are thousands of gods, and Indra is the god in charge of all gods. The net represents the interconnectedness of all life. So you can see how all of these strings are all connected, and it represents the interconnectedness of all life. And in the story, the net extends infinitely and everywhere present. So even though this ends right here, just imagine this net expanding out across the universe. It's infinitely expanding. And it has these beautiful gems on every knot. So you can see these little gems that she's tied onto the net. The knots represent, or the nodes represent the connecting places of every gem represents one of the gods. So remember, she was in charge of all the gods. And they shine and sparkle because at their center, they are the light. And not only are they the light, but they also reflect off of each other. So if you walk around, you can see these stones, and you can see the reflection off of them, right? And so as more stones are added, more gems are added, the brighter the light becomes, right? And so all being interconnected, and each stone shining the light onto each other stone, we're all connected in one life, and we're all shining our light. So how does this represent us? How does this represent humanity, our spiritual home? So each one of us is a God spark. We are on this web of life. We are shining our light individually, but our community is shining our light collectively. And so we are the lighthouse here in West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. And every Sunday, since after COVID has passed us, I should say, and it's still here, but I'm saying it's in my rearview mirror now, we continue to see more visitors coming, so welcome. And we continue to see more visitors here in our community coming in. And Reverend Karen and I are so excited because I feel like that we are ready to really expand and grow and support the West Valley. Our center, our light, our community light is going to support the West Valley of who we are. So as we step into stewardship this month, we're seeding our future, and we begin to notice not only our light, but the light of our community. And then we realize the connectedness that we have with one another. Because I remember back in the day, in 2020, sitting here in the front row by myself, wishing there was other people here in the community with me. And now look at everybody.
Amen.
So, this is the essence, it is our essence, essential nature to shine on the net and to be connected with one another. Even if we're at home and not willing to come in at this point, or coming in here at the center, we're still all connected. We have ways to connect by Zoom. We have ways to connect by prayer with calls. You can send in a prayer request. You can fill out a prayer request back there. We're all connected and we're all supporting one another as we continue to move through this life. So your commitment helps us build the budget for next year and allows us to grow our services. Seeding the Future Pledge Program is a yearly event that we only do in the fall, and we ask for your financial support for our community. This is the only time of year that we speak directly to you about tithing and your financial commitment to the center. That's because we are focused on our well-being of the upcoming year, and we need to plan for our future. And because your giving is our primary source of income, we need to hear from you. We ask that you help us by telling us your committed tithing amount. And then based on that, the board works together in making sure that we're good stewards of your gifts and that we're supporting not only this community, but we keep the light on and welcome new people into our community. So for every commitment card, the plan is for the next 4 weeks as we receive the commitment cards, and we've already mailed out the mailing this week, and so you should be receiving your letter in the mail, but we also have extra commitment cards here, so if you need one, if you didn't receive it, but you can drop them off in the tithing box. You can drop it off. We have a golden box in the bookstore. You can drop it off there. You can always give it to me. You can give it to Cheryl. You can give it to Sue. You can give it to anybody. We'll take it. But every time you turn in a commitment card, the plan is that we are going to add a gem to this net. And we're going to watch. This is an expression of our community right here this month, and it's living and it's growing. And so as we add those gems, we're going to see the light of our community continue to grow. So last week, Reverend Karen set a solid foundation to step into this month of stewardship. So if you weren't here last month, I really encourage you to listen to that message. The message that she had last month was I felt really incredible. Felt really incredible about it. So much so that I actually went home and told my partner that we had to sit down and listen to it together, and so we did. And but if you were here last Sunday, I also encourage you maybe to listen to it again, because it was really the foundation of we're talking about really setting intentions for abundance. When I'm talking about abundance, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about health. It all ties in together, right? And it's all available to us right here and right now. So Ernest Holmes said, expectancy speeds progress, right? So expectancy speeds progress. So what are you expecting? He also says we must live in a continued state of expectancy. So are you expecting more health? more wealth, more relationships, and this year and years to come. So what are you expecting? Again, pure potentiality. The sky is the limit. We set our own limits. There is no limit to what life has to offer us, and we get to experience as much as we want to experience. And in the talk that Karen had last week, she talked about expanding our consciousness, expanding our dipper, right? And if you can't expand the dipper, then that she mentioned, build it up around the edges so that way it'll become bigger. As we go to that well of life itself, life is there to support us. So I want to share, again, our theme is enthusiastic expectations, and I wanted to share a quick story around enthusiastic expectations. So I work full-time in healthcare. A lot of people know that, and I work in hospitals, hospital operations, and right now I have a 3-year project that I'm on, and we're going through, and we're converting 17 hospitals, their patient accounting system and their clinical systems. And I know I have some nurses out there, so I know that you're already cringing when you hear me say this. But we're going through this process of changing the hospital's financial systems and their clinical systems and their clinical documentation systems. And so we're basically turning their life upside down. And so the one thing I love about my job more than anything is that my job, I get paid to help people. That's all I get paid to do, is to help people in organizations, and I do it every day and I love it. So here we are going out there to these 17 hospitals and letting them know that, hey, you know, we're going to implement this new financial system and clinical system, and you're going to love it. Well, there is very little enthusiastic expectation at that point. I will share with you. There are some of them that do have it right away, because they you know, they're like people. Some people are really open to change and like, wow, something good's going to happen, right? Then other people are like, oh my God, I'm not going to change. I don't want to change. And so it can be very difficult. And remember, as we're going through this whole change with them, they're still taking care of patients. We don't get to tell the patients, stop coming, we have to go through this change first. We have to take care of the patients and go through the change while we're doing it, right? So while we're doing all this, so we have to go into markets and stuff like that, so I have to hire some extra staff to help me, because I can't do everything myself, and so I'm in the process of hiring people. So I always explain to them, okay, so this is what the job entails. We have to do some training, we have to do some hand-holding, and then when we actually go live, we're actually sitting with the people every day for 2 weeks to show them the new system and get them comfortable for using the system, right? And so then I share with them, I set the expectation. I said, these people that were going into their hospital and now turning their life upside down, we need to understand and accept that they're afraid. They're afraid because they don't know what's going to happen. And they don't know the new system, right? They're angry because we're making them make this change and they don't have a choice in it, right? And in some cases, there's just pure resistance because of the change. So they're afraid going into this. And then so the people that I hire, I tell them in so many words, I don't tell them directly that they are guiding angels of God, because that's what they are. So we are in there and we're walking side by side with all of these nurses and these clinical people, and we're telling them every day that it's going to be okay and that we're not going to let go of their hand until they are ready, right? And so the expectation, the fear, the worry, the anger over time diminishes, right? So the first week, I always tell my staff, I said that first week everybody's going to be really upset with you and they're going to tell you they don't want to be there. But by the end of the second week, they're all loving us. And they think that we're their best friend, and the expectation around the new systems that are coming on board, they can see it, the light turns on. But that's life in general, right? Life is forever evolving, forever changing, right? So the unexpected changes leaves an opening for that potentiality for life to express itself, right? And all the people that come into our lives are agents of God, or are angels of God that are guiding us, that are helping us move through all of this. All we have to do is stay open. And just like Sue said, stay in the flow, stay in the stream, and know that life is supporting you. And we will move through this together, and we will move past it and move on with life. So that is exactly what we've done here at the community, right? Here at the center, we all hunkered down when COVID hit, and we didn't say we're closing the doors. We didn't say that we can't support the community. We said that, you know what, we're keeping the light on because we want this community to know that we are here and we're going to get through this together. And that's what we did, right? So the choices that we make for the sake of the greater good are no small acts. When we commit to anything, we're doing it. It's not something small. When we put our intention, we're planting a seed into the future. We're entering into a relationship with possibilities. Something living emerges from our commitment. So the hospital staff, when we first introduced and let them know that we're making the change, there's very little commitment to that. But the more that we shine the light, the more that we bring our lights together and shine the light, just like we're talking about this web. So these spaces where there was no crystals there, those are the hospital staff, but there's crystals all around shining that light. And so more we shine the light and people understand what's happening, the brighter it becomes, the more enthusiastic expectation comes from it. So life can be chaotic, life can be challenging, but there's always a flow, there's always a steady heartbeat that we just have to stay open to it. There's no problem too big for God. And like I started out with at the very beginning about the law of pure potentiality, if we remind ourselves that we are part of that pure potentiality, nothing is too big for us. So as we move into the stewardship campaign this year, we are moving in with enthusiastic expectations. Reverend Karen and I have no idea where this is going to unfold, but we know it's going to be great. And we know that we have enough people supporting us saying the same thing. And so we continue to get brighter and brighter, we continue to grow. And so we ask that you to take into consideration as we move into this month. And this whole month, we're going to be talking about our pledge program. And again, it's only for this month. And we'll be collecting the pledge cards all the way through the end of the year, knowing that we will exceed our goal. And our goal is to collect pledges up to $90,000 for this year. So we can move back into our normal state that we were before COVID and continue to support the West Valley and continue to brighten our light. So please join us. Please join us in this enthusiastic expectation. Please join us in your enthusiastic expectation. Because remember, what we give, we receive. And life is forever in the law of circulation. And so we're part of that law of circulation. So I just want to close with this quote real quick. That's from Ernest Holmes. If we have to demonstrate divine givingness as a principle, then we must set up a receiving center. For no matter how abundantly the horn of plenty may pour its universal gifts, there must be a bowl of acceptance, a chalice of expectation, or a gift, or that gift cannot be complete. So we have a chalice of expectation. Our net is a representation of the givingness of our community and of us coming together. And so I know that this stewardship campaign, this Seeding the Future program for this year is already successful because of the commitment and the spiritual practice of our home.
Amen.
So thank you. So let's close with prayer. So as I breathe in to this beautiful morning, recognizing the pure potentiality of not only my life, of your life, of our center's life, of all life. Because what I know is that there is only one true life, one true expression. And from that true expression, life is forever evolving from itself, from that perfection, from that wholeness, from that abundance, from that love, that creativity, that intelligence. Life is forever evolving to the highest and best good. And so my life, your life, all life is no different than that unfoldment right here and right now. So we stand in this place of knowing that we live in an abundant universe, that our health, our bodies know how to heal itself, that we just simply declare that we are that perfect divine expression of God itself. Just like we know our hearts know how to beat, that we breathe the air in and breathe the air out without even knowing that we're doing it. That is how life works. That unexpected expectation is already working for us right here, right now. The abundance of the universe, as we see it in all walks of life, and all the stars, and all the galaxies, and all the needles on all the cactus. We can't count them. They're infinite numbers. That abundance is expressed through nature every day to remind us that we live in an abundant universe. So that enthusiastic expectation of what we want in life is already available to us right here and right now. And we just simply say yes to it. We say yes knowing that we are loved, that we are supported, that we are surrounded by all of these beautiful people that are supporting us as we move through life and remind us of the truth of who we are, that perfect expression of God, whole, perfect, and complete the way that we are. So I know that this spiritual community, West Valley Center for Spiritual Living, is no different. We're a living, thriving, breathing organism that represents our community, our loving home, our light. And as we move through this month and we move through the years, we move through with that enthusiastic expectation that we are here to stay, that we are here to serve, and that we welcome everyone that wants to live a life full of joy, happiness, love, and abundance. And I also want to bless Reverend Karen as she moves through this time today, knowing that she is loved and supported by everyone in this community, that her body is already healing right in front of us, right where we know that it should be. She is that perfect expression of God. So I'm so grateful that we come together every Sunday to remember our truth, that we take time out of our busy lives just for a moment to reflect that we are these perfect expressions of life, that we are God's gift to the world. Each one of us is here because we need to be here. Life needs us, and that is why we are here. And I'm so grateful for our teachings that help us practice our spiritual principles and our practices so we can live the life that we want to experience. And I know that it's all unfolding in divine right order because that's the only way that life knows how to unfold. So I simply release this prayer into the law, knowing that it's already done, it's already good, because it's all God. And together we say, and so it is.
Grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. Everywhere I look and every face I see is love reflected, shining back to me.
efforts, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Clyde. That really was a fabulous talk that touched my heart and made me cry. And I cry easy, but this was extra special for me, so thank you. So it is time for us to repeat our conscious giving affirmation, and it's here on the screen. So if you'll say that with me, I live in a consciousness of good. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And I will tell you, I've been to many churches that use this affirmation, but we have a piece that I have never heard anywhere but here, and that is we begin with all that I am. And that is so true. As I look out in this room, it's just extraordinary to see and to know that there are people watching and will watch, that this community is strong and vibrant. So thank you for your participation with us. It is exquisite to see. So with that, I think we're done, yeah? Okay.
Ready?
Ready? Please stand for our next song. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Let me hear you sing that. It feels so good to be alive. I ain't thinking about my problems. I'm living now. I'm living now. And I ain't gonna worry about the future. I'm living now. I'm living now. So put your hands up if you feel like having a good time. Put your hands up if you're sharing love with all. Raise your cup if you're hopeful for tomorrow. Put your hands up if you're ready to have some fun. Sing it with me. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life living in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life living in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life living in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. One more time. Oh, it feels so good to be alive.
All right, thank you, Bradford. I have to share with you guys real quick that when Reverend Karen asked me to speak this morning, I'm like, is the Bradford singing? Okay, the Bradford just thinking I'm good. All right, so just a couple quick announcements. We have a lot of stuff starting to happen, and we're going to remind you about our website, wbcsl.com. All of this information is on our website. If you do not have, if you're not receiving our Wednesday, our Tuesday or Wednesday email with all of our information, please see Cheryl and make sure that she has your information so that way you receive that information. So a couple other things. One, we have prayer affirmations that Karen and I wrote. There's 26 of them. They're in the newsletter. So we're asking you guys to read them once a day and then follow along. She made the comment that she wrote one and I wrote one to see if you guys can tell the difference. We'll see. I didn't want to say that, but she did. And then also I want to remind everybody about the book study. So the book study starts this Monday, right? So we start this Monday. There's one in the afternoon. There's also one in the evening. All the information is on the website, also in the newsletter, so you can join there. So we have all kinds of spiritual practices that anchor ourselves in our spiritual truth. So let's stand and we'll close with our closing affirmation. And if you just repeat after me. I live my life with enthusiastic expectation, knowing the law of pure potentiality, is activated. So it is. Thank you, everyone.